Sinners was directed by Ryan Coogler and it stars Michael B. Jordan and Hailee Steinfeld. And this movie takes place in Mississippi in 1932. So in this movie, we have two twin brothers named Smoke and Stack, played by Michael B. Jordan, who are establishing a nightclub for everyone to come have a good time until their fun night has turned into a complete hell of a nightmare when vampires show up to wreak havoc, and now we got our movie. And I'm gonna say this straight up. I was really looking forward to this movie after seeing the trailers for myself. I really dig what the trailers give me. I really dig the trailers, and the trailers gave me some high expectations for this movie. And I heard some people who have seen this, and I heard a couple of people, or most people who have seen this movie, have said, like, this movie's good, this movie is wonderful, go see it. And those who have not seen this movie, go see it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go see the movie for myself. And after I watched the whole movie and seen the movie for myself, what do I think of it? This movie is amazing. Sinners is wonderful, and this movie is one hell of a ride. Sinners is gotta be like one of the best movies I ever seen this year. So with that down, let's talk about the actors and the characters themselves. Starting off with is Michael B. Jordan as Smoke. Now, him and his twin brother Stack, they come home from Chicago to return back to their hometown of Mississippi in 1932. They leave their troubles behind. They establish a nightclub. They establish a nightclub for everyone to come have a good time. Their fun night has turned into a complete hell of a nightmare when vampires show up out of the blue. Smoke and the rest of his group has to find a way to take these vampires down. And I really enjoy Smoke and Stack's chemistry in this movie, and their dialogue in this movie is really good. And that's all I can say. And Michael B. Jordan is really good in this movie as Smoke, and that's all I can say for Smoke. Next up is Michael B. Jordan as Stack. Now, Stack in this movie is the same thing. Him and his twin brother, Smoke, they return back from Chicago to leave their troubles behind. They return back to their hometown in Mississippi. They establish a nightclub to invite everyone to come have a good time. Their entire fun night has turned into a nightmare. Vampires show up, and that's all I can say. And Michael B. Jordan has got to be like the best part of this movie. His performance is outstanding. I really enjoyed the fact that he actually plays two twin brothers in this movie. And with him playing two twin brothers in this movie is actually outstanding. This has got to be like one of the best performances I ever seen from Michael B. Jordan himself, playing two twin brothers in this movie. And they also have some excellent chemistry in this film. And Michael B. Jordan is really good in this movie as Stack, and that's all I can say for Stack. Next up is Hailee Steinfeld as Mary. Now, Mary in this movie wasn't touched much in the trailer. The only thing I can say is that Hailee Steinfeld Hailee Steinfeld has got to give one of the best performances. She gives one of the best performances throughout the movie, and her dialogue and monologue in this movie, but mostly her dialogue, her dialogue in this movie is pretty easy to follow, and you do sympathize with this character, and I think that's all I can say. And I enjoyed this character a lot throughout the majority of the movie. And Hailee Steinfeld is really good as Mary, and that's all I can say for Mary. Next up is Miles Caton as Sammy. Now, Sammy in this movie, he's really good at singing. He plays his guitar. He's a musician. He does sing and plays guitar in this nightclub that everyone is having a good time in, and that's all I can say. And also he's the cousin of Smoke and Stacks, and that's all I can say for this character. And Miles Caton gives one of the best performances as Sammy, and he's really good as this character, and that's all I can say for Sammy. And last but definitely not least is Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim. Now, Delta Slim in this movie, he does play his, he plays his harmonica, and he's drunk. He drinks a lot, but he does play his harmonica pretty well. And the way you hear his harmonica felt more like jazz music. And I gotta say, it sounds wonderful in this movie. And Delroy Lindo gives one of the best performances throughout the movie as this character, as Delta Slim. And that's all I can say for Delta Slim. And I think that's it for the actors and the characters themselves. So let's talk about the rest of this movie. So for the rest of this movie, the way the cinematography, the camera angles for this movie, my lord, the cinematography in this movie, you can pretty much tell exactly what is going on. You can pretty much tell what the characters are doing. You can pretty much tell exactly what these other characters are doing. And the way that the camera moves does take its time. It doesn't rush through. It doesn't like go slow pace. And sometimes it goes like fast pace and slow pace all at once. And it does take its time with the camera movement for this movie. And I think the cinematography is gotta be like the greatest part of this movie. And the way this movie takes place in the 1930s, the way that the set design for this movie, the set design is outstanding because this movie takes place in the early 1930s, which is 1932. Because when I was watching this movie, I said, I feel like this movie is bringing in some 1930s vibes. The way the people talk in this movie, the way that the people talk in this movie, the way that the people talk in this movie, the way that the characters or the people act in this movie, and and most of the dialogue that they're saying is outstanding. And also, and this movie does have some really interesting, some interesting music from the 1930s, like some jazz music or or some kind of jazz music in this film. And in this movie that takes place and most of the things in this movie that takes place in the 1930s actually keeps the movie going. I feel like the 1930s vibes actually keeps the movie going, and that's the only thing I can say about this movie. And the characters in this movie, the cast and the characters, and everyone in this movie is outstanding, and that's all I can say. And with these vampire characters, so with the vampires, they only come at night. Yes, I know. They love the dark. But these vampires are actually humans. Because the way you look at the vampires, these humanoid vampires, I call them humanoid vampires because they look like humans and vampires all at once. These humanoid vampires are actually the main antagonists, the villains of this movie. They are actually pretty evil, and they show you how evil and creepy they are. Because they have sharp teeth. They have sharp teeth. They have blood on their face and mouths, and they have glowing eyes. And that's one of the creepier things I love about these vampire characters in this movie. And they show you how evil and creepy they actually are. These vampire characters do sometimes give out some jump scares, like at least 2 or 3 jump scares here and there, and that's one of the best things I love about this movie. Now with the rest of this movie, I feel like some of the jump scares, was actually doing it for me. The way that this movie shows you how creepy this movie is, some of the jump scares that actually sometimes maybe jump back and forth. I'm just like, oh boy. I knew that was coming. I knew this character was gonna do this or do that. And that's the thing about the jump scares. Like, if you don't like jump scares, I understand. But with me, I'm trying to get used to the jump scares just a little bit. It takes me a while to get used to it. So I think the jump scares is the greatest things about this movie. So the plot in the story actually keeps things going. And the plot in the story is pretty easy to follow. To pretty much to pretty much tell what the writing is about. And the writing for the rest of the writing for all of these characters is actually well received. And I feel like the writing is actually the writing for this movie does a really good job to keep the characters up and going, and that's one of the greatest things I love about the movie. And with the plot and the story is pretty much easy to follow and understand what's going on, what the protagonists and what the antagonists are doing, what the supporting characters or the background characters are doing. And the movie, and the way that this film actually went extremely dark, this movie went for more like a brutal dark territory because all these characters at this nightclub are having a fun night until their night turn into a nightmare. When the vampires show up to wreak havoc, things don't look too good because these humanoid vampires ruin everybody's night. And now Smoke and his group has to find a way to take these vampires down. And that's the only thing I can say about this movie. So for the rest of this movie, I think this movie is outstanding. So, what do I think of this movie? This movie was great. So, I think that's all I can say for this movie. And I think the way Ryan Coogler directs and writes the movie is absolutely amazing. Ryan Coogler has one of the best track records of movies that he has directed before. He directed the Black Panther movies. He directed the first Creed, and he directed Fruitvale Station, and also Sinners. And that's all I can say. And I'm really hoping to see what Ryan Coogler does with his next movies in the near future. So I think that's all I can say for this movie review for the film Sinners. If you haven't seen this movie, go see it. But if you have seen this movie, what did you think of it? Did you like it or you didn't like it? But for me, I feel like I give this movie a 10 out of 10, one of the greatest movies ever made. And what do I think of this movie? This movie is 10 out of 10, one of my favorite movies I ever seen from the director, Ryan Coogler. So, I think that's all I can say for this review for Sinners, and there's nothing much else to say, so be sure to like, subscribe, press the notification button, follow me on Instagram and comment down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.